So I watched a relatively good amount of anime this year, and here's my ranking for all of them. So the first anime I watched this year was Tokyo Ghoul, and yes, this had started off my year to anime this year. It had been on the top of my list for a long time, and I hadn't started it, and it also had a relatively few number of episodes, so I was like, well then, I guess it's time to watch it now. Now right off the bat, I did like the story for this anime and the character's progression, but let's be real, the anime's pacing was kind of whack, and this led to it ruining what could have potentially been a good anime. The first season was made well in my opinion, with it laying the groundworks and everything for the stories to build up. Following this, we had season 2, which I personally liked a lot more. I guess it was the action and we had a lot more things going on during that show. And I did hear something before watching it. I was told that season 3 was not as good, but regardless, I was locked in and I was watching it on the way to work during my breaks at work. So I was quite locked in and dedicated to finish the show, only to be so disappointed because season 3 part 1 and 2 both were not great at all. Now, I haven't read the manga, but I'm sure that the story was amazing and really good. These are things that I've heard. It's just a shame that it ended like this and it didn't get a proper ending. Now, I don't like saying anything bad, but it was just so messy. I had no idea what I was watching and I was just so confused most of the time. There were so many characters who came in out of nowhere only for nothing to happen with them in the end. We got a sort of happy ending in the end of the anime, but I was like, how do we even get here? And I know it's a seinen anime, but there were certain scenes where I was like, oh great heavens, I need to close my eyes. But overall, I did enjoy Tokyo Ghoul, but I do need to go and read the manga because I heard it was really amazing. And I actually want to understand and know what was going on in this anime and the whole story, but I guess I'll have to read the manga to understand that. Now, I didn't really listen to the opening of this anime, mainly because I was outside and at work, but oh wow, I listened to the opening and it is such a banger. It had me dancing and screaming the lyrics out loud. So because of all these factors, even though I enjoyed this series, I would have to rank it okay. Next, I had watched Violet Evergarden. Now, right off the bat, this anime had some of the most amazing visuals I've seen and it was just so beautiful. But just to say, this anime was depressing as fuck. It was so sad at moments. I was like, oh my goodness, this is sad. But that's what makes it such a compelling story. The studio who made this anime, KyoAni, is known for having some of the most amazing animation and visuals, and the same applied for this anime as well because the anime was just so beautiful. And this aligned with the story along with the main character's growth and how they learned from being a child soldier to becoming a doll who writes letters. And I just thought that it was such a wholesome anime that brings into light the realities of life and war. I was going to rank it in great, however I'll put it to pure greatness. The animation and the story is actually really good, so I'll put it up there. Later down the line, I had then watched Death Note. This anime right here had me in a literal headlock. I was literally glued to my screen. Now I'll have to do a separate video for this individual anime as well because it was just so good. Also, the plot twist and the gradual declines of Light Yagami's morality and sanity shows how absolute power can end up corrupting even the most diligent of people. And I saw this anime was rated highly for a long time, and I'm not surprised after watching this because this was such an amazing anime. And the fact that there was no fight sequences within this anime made it exceptionally better. It was just purely a battle of the wits. And we did also get this amazing scene.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Now, the character of L is such an exceptional character. His abundant love for sweets, his interesting way of sitting, and also his amazing intellect. Now, many debate about whether or not the ending was great or not. Should Light Yagami have died or should he have stayed alive? I personally think if he didn't start killing innocent people, he should have stayed alive. But since he started killing innocent people, it meant that he was no longer a good person. And on top of that, he also got his family involved and kind of just used Misa Misa as well to his advantage. And then he also ended up getting his father killed as well and numerous others who were innocent. Now, these aspects and the constant intellectual ways that Light uses to escape being caught is the ultimate chess game that this anime is all about with being smart and also acting less smart so that your enemy doesn't think it's you as well. I rate this anime a solid 10, just being such an amazing anime. Death Note is just straight masterpiece. This is peak fiction. Moving on to the next one, Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I definitely love this anime and it was just amazing. I heard many things about the show before watching it, and you know a character is popular when you know of the character before watching the show, and that is exactly what Gojo Satoru is. Whatever the circumstance, there's always going to be a stronger character, with the sole exception of Satoru Gojo, of course. Anyway, I definitely understood the hype regarding the show, because these guys were throwing hand, and I am here for all of it. The first season was just magnificent, but the second season now is just pure cinema. I'm so looking forward to the new season coming out, and I was in pain waiting to watch it after a few months, so I can't imagine what others must have been feeling, waiting for years for the show to air. Now, right off the bat, the characters are just tops here, and I'm happy we have strong characters throughout, where we have strong male and female characters, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just love Itadori's character. I have to say, I gotta agree. Anyway, the setup of the show and the premise is all just amazing. Story is just really well done. Jujutsu Kaisen is just straight up peak. I can't argue with that. Next one is the big one. Komi can't communicate. Now, I remember when the show was announced and people were so excited for the show and everyone was in love with it back when it was first announced in 2020, and honestly, I'm not surprised at all because this anime has honestly altered my brain chemistry because I had watched it 5 times after watching it for the first time. It was just that good and perfect. Words can't describe how much I love this show. I watched it immediately after finishing it and I just rewatched it all over again. And following this, I had watched it another 3 times from top to bottom afterwards, and even when I'm just feeling down, I watched random episodes from the show. It was just so good to the point that whenever I'm feeling down, I would just watch this anime and it would just make me feel better. I was having such a rough time during the latter half of this year and this anime genuinely did make me so much better. I even just put it in the background while I was cleaning once, and yes, I did watch it in English while I was rewatching it, because I'm not completely fluent in Japanese yet, but I'll be there soon. But regardless, this anime is so good and I need it to be indefinitely implanted into my brain because it's just that good. It's just something about the everyday life and characters and going on different side quests that warms my heart, along with Komi, who's unable to communicate, and the friendliness of her friends to help her achieve her goal of making 100 friends. Considering I watched this anime 4 times, this is straight peak. This is masterpiece level right here. I then watched this anime, and to sum it up in one sentence: depression. This anime was genuinely so sad and made me so upset, but it also had a wholesome element to it, and that even though things can be sad, it will definitely get better, and it shows that the world is a bit of a messed up place, but you can still have hope and that things will definitely change and get better. It just gives you a deeper meaning of life as well. It's just the wholesomeness of this little kid who's already been through so much stuff in life, living alone and figuring out life by himself. He manages to make friends with his neighbors and gets along with them, and we see their struggles and their daily schedules and how they go about life. But honestly, it's just so heartbreaking to see what's been happening to this young child. Along with this, we see various other characters in the show and children who have been victims of abuse and neglect. But we see hope. Because of his neighbors, Kotoro's life slowly improves and he learns about adult life and navigating his way through society. I would have to put this, it was just very sad, but I can't really name anything bad about this series. Moving on in the year, I watched this anime. I already made a video about it, but one thing I do have to say I didn't mention in the video is that Demon Slayer had made motion. And I remember when I walked in the cinema, I was half expecting it to be empty, which is not a reflection of Demon Slayer. It's just because not many people watch anime, and it was full up, and this was a good 2 or 3 days after the movie came out, so I was pleasantly surprised when I saw this movie. I was like, where did all these anime fans spawn in from? They literally came in out of nowhere. And Demon Slayer being one of the most highest grossing movies of 2025, along with Chainsaw Man as well, was one of the most amazing things I've witnessed. It's so peak, I literally had tears in my eyes. It's so nice to see anime becoming more mainstream as well. This movie was definitely a masterpiece. Now, up until this point, I hadn't watched any romance anime, and I was unsure of watching it at first, but then I watched it. Bro, I watched an anime called Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, and oh my, life just seemed so much better after watching this anime. The grass was greener, there was rainbows everywhere, there was clear blue skies with no clouds at all, and there was most definitely cake everywhere I was looking as well. Furthermore, I was sitting down watching this anime just like this. This anime was just so wholesome, and it was just so beautiful where the characters interact with each other and actually communicate their feelings. It wasn't just a romance between the 2 protagonists, but also their friendships between the characters as well, and how they actually help each other to get over their problems. Now, living life as a teenager is difficult, especially going through the world and trying to understand things, and it's definitely something that will make most people feel upset and insecure, and having these characters go through their lives while also communicating with each other is so wholesome. I just love the anime with the slice of life aspects and just everyday things and activities, which I especially loved about this show as well. Just the activities and going bowling, going to the aquarium, the beach, the summer festival was all so beautiful. It was honestly nice seeing a romance anime that wasn't a load of BS and fan service. I genuinely loved the characters from this anime, and I'll be rewatching this and definitely be reading the manga, and I'm glad I discovered this very early on. I absolutely love this series. It's going straight up there. Alright, now, I know people say things about this next anime, and I need you to hear me out, because don't scroll away, please. Hear me out. There may be some fan service involved, which is slightly disappointing for this anime. It did put it down. I'll be honest, there was slight inappropriate humor, but it just made me laugh. It wasn't at a level that was sickening, but it was instead at a level that I find hilarious, which is kind of like watching Paul and his inappropriate humor. I watched My Dress Up Darling, and I fully binged the first season, and there was a lot more fan service in the first season, but then after watching the second season, it was a lot more wholesome and moments and just refreshing to watch. Also, quick side note, Deadpool himself is a dress up darling. As someone who loves cosplay and making costumes, I genuinely love this show. So watching how to make all the costumes and how they were all made, I love the craft, so it genuinely gave something for me to connect with for the show. Again, all the slice of life scenes where you just get transported into the characters' world is honestly so wholesome. And the part where I loved was when Gojo, not this one, keep up, cover now. He was a quiet student in the classroom, and getting to know Marin made him become closer friends with her. But then his classmates were also really nice to him about it, and it was something that was so wholesome to see. And I hope that dynamic doesn't change and they end up bullying him, because that would just ruin the whole premise of something so amazing. But regardless, even if they did, it will be interesting to see how it plays out and how they go about this as well. It's so nice. I might have to put it down here just because I don't think I'll put it in masterpiece. Alright, another big one, and this had been on my list for such a long time, and watching it was honestly just relaxing. I loved learning about the different cars, and I love it when a show teaches me something and actually makes me think. I believe that this anime was really good, and that was Initial D. I had to just watch this show because I literally had all the songs in my playlist, so I definitely had to watch the anime. Of course, I just love watching the racing. As someone who grew up watching cars, this anime was just epic, and it also taught me how I could drift myself and the cool and creative ways they come up with winning. Best part about Initial D is also that the stunts and the feats that they accomplish through their driving actually make sense. Isaac Newton is still on the chat, and he never left. They aren't doing some crazy stunts. Not that I have a problem with that. I love watching crazy stunts as well, but the show is purely for learning driving techniques and implementing them as well. And it is a seinen show, so there are a lot of mature themes that the show delves into as well. I had got my driving license not too long ago, and you know, after watching the show, I tried implementing some myself. I didn't do anything illegal, I promise. I know there's someone probably watching this show. I definitely didn't do anything illegal. I guess I'm not going to be racing anyway, because I'm not going to be, the only thing I was doing was driving to work and commuting through heavy traffic. So there's no way I'm doing any kind of stunts. It was really cool to watch this and be able to understand what they were doing and how hard the stunts and everything they were doing actually are. If I watched this before I started driving, I would have been quite confused. But since I watched this after I started driving, it made I could actually understand and appreciate how hard the things they do really are. The thing is, if car grow vroom vroom, why need romance? Bro, everyone was just getting rejected. I guess it portrays the realities of life, but man, god damn it, no one is winning in this anime. So far, having watched it, even though I haven't finished it fully yet, I'll put it here. This is a huge anime on my list, and I had been recommended this anime in 2018. I just never got around to watching it because I really only started watching anime more in 2023. But regardless, why do you know? Pardon? Why didn't you watch it? Oh, that's because I had homework.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
But regardless, this anime had been on my list for so long, and I'd even heard about it so many times to the point where I just knew the characters, but to finally watch it and understand what was going on, everything finally made sense. And it was awesome to see. Izuku meeting All Might and having such an inspiring story was so uplifting. The way the characters and the classmates all get along is really nice to know. Also, I knew about some of the characters before watching this show, because I'd heard of them, but being able to actually watch the characters and get to know them was even more special. These characters for me were Todoroki, All Might, and Bakugo, and I had seen a few characters before, but now I have actually got to know them. It was cool to see them and actually understand their powers as well. Aside from Izuku, my favorite character in My Hero Academia has to be this guy. Okay, if I ever say that this is my favorite character, you have the right to shoot me. Anyway, my favorite character was probably Suyu because of how kind and helpful she is to all the other characters. And she's one of the characters that gets along with everyone and is very kind to everyone. And this goes without saying, but she's an absolute gangster. I aspire to be just like her and get along with everyone and give motivational advice to all. Also, I love that the one for all is passed down through generations, and this was something that I thought was really cool about the manga and the anime. Seeing where Izuku saw all the users of one for all was so cool. It was almost like the Avatar state and how the power has been passed down from generation to generation, which was so inspirational to see. This scene fully gave me goosebumps. So far, I'm really loving the show, and from what I've heard, the show is good towards the beginning, and then it gets normal towards the middle, and later on, the show just becomes amazing. But I think I'm going to enjoy the show regardless. Also, people keep telling me that they don't like the fandom of the show, apparently, which I thought was interesting, but I don't know much about that. I don't really know, but someone can explain it in the comments. So far, we had Izuku joining the school, but we also had the school competition, and this was so funny, especially with Bakugo ending like this. I thought this was just hilarious, and things get more intense in the third season. This fight near brought me to tears. I genuinely thought All Might was going to die in this fight. It was so beautiful. I also met this villain. There's no surprise that he's a villain. His face isn't a permanent face palm. He's just disappointed all the time. I'm looking so forward to seeing the next few seasons of this show, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I haven't finished it yet, so the rating might change. However, I can't stop watching this here. I definitely think this is a masterpiece. Following the theme of wholesomeness and relaxing slice of life that I've really enjoyed throughout watching anime, I searched for good slice of life shows, and this was basically #1 on the list. So knowing me, I just had to watch it. What a relaxing dragon. Holy moly, that's a dragon fighting another dragon. This anime was actually crazy. You had your relaxing scenes and then you have your super awesome scenes with dragons fighting, flying each other. Life can be split into the two best parts, fighting and being relaxed. And this show quite literally had both. Although there are a few odd scenes here and there, I just ignore them and continue to watch the show. Honestly, when this show is wholesome and the slices of life is on, it's very cozy. Doing everyday tasks and cooking and having work is something that's really relaxing as well. I'm looking to see more of it, and overall it's definitely a relaxing show. It's not as great as the others that I've watched, but it's still a really good show regardless. I think I just like the cooking and going on cool side quests, which is the best part about this anime. At the time of making this video, I've actually finished Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I'll put it over here. Towards the end of the year, around Christmas time, I also decided to watch the movie, and this was an amazing movie. Again, the animation and the visuals were all so good, but again, this was so depressing. I couldn't believe generally how depressing it was. It was honestly just sad. It made a great contrast where you had the amazing animation and visuals and just beautiful stuff, but it was so depressing at the same time. But I guess that is life. You have your happy moments, but you also need your sad moments. Otherwise, you know, the happy moments, it would be too sweet. You need a bit of bitterness. It's like Remy said, you need to have all the flavors coming together in order to be able to make the perfect meal. I think I'll leave the ranking just how it is, and here's the final ranking for all the anime I watched this year. I read a few manga this year because your boy loves comic books, so you know I had to also look at some manga. I've never really read manga before properly, although I did read One Piece in the year 2018, and only in 2018. I haven't touched it since. It is on my to be read plan to watch list. I just have no idea when, but it is my goal for this upcoming year. I'll make a video about this, but Gokuro Kugai is honestly an amazing manga. The story, the dark tone, and artwork just looks so epic. It's genuinely such an amazing manga. I also read some chapters of Kimetsu Gakuen, which is Demon Slayer, but set in an alternate universe where everything is happy. All the characters for the main show are in this show, and they're all still alive. And my shock when I found out about this, and apparently in this universe, Tanjiro and the gang are all in high school, which makes sense for modern times, and Muzan is an evil corporate leader, which seems very fitting for modern times. I also had read 1 or 2 chapters of Hideyasumi, but I'm not very far into the manga yet, so I'm nowhere near being able to comment on it. But maybe next year I will make sure to read it so I can comment on that. So I started Dan initially, and in all honesty, I had to start it just for the theme song because I was hearing this theme song everywhere, and you know, I put it in my playlist because it was a banger already. However, when I watched it, it was quite weird, and I was just a little put off, so I dropped it. But it was later when I was told by a friend it's actually good and it gets better, so I'll definitely give this show another chance, but I guess I just need to get past that weird parts first. I wanted to watch some romance anime. I've been loving romance anime so far. I wonder which romance anime will be good. I'm not going to say anything for the next one. Yeah, I genuinely got so catfished. I didn't enjoy this anime whilst I was watching it. I was just so annoyed watching this show, and then I realized, yeah, after hearing 100 billion reviews, I had then found out that this is one of the most hated anime of all time. So I just dropped it. I'd also started Freerun recently because the shows I'm watching currently aren't on Netflix, and I wanted to watch a show whilst I was eating. So I just put on a show, and I'll definitely make a video on this later because it's just too awesome. I literally felt like I was playing some sort of fantasy game, and when I was watching this anime, I literally felt like I was in the world itself. There is no equivalent to this because it really is in its own league in terms of peacefulness of the show. However, if I had to choose, I would definitely say that this show kind of reminds me of Narnia because it's quite similar. Anyway, I'll definitely make a video about the show once I'm finished with it because it's just too good. Also, way back in the early part of the year, I watched 1 or 2 episodes of Washin' Core, and this was because I wanted something relaxing I can sleep to, until I found out it's the complete opposite of what that was. And when I did want to watch it again, my Netflix subscription ended because your boy is broke. Again, I'm not able to make any comments on this anime because I haven't even watched it yet, so that will also go into next year's list. Anyway, this video has taken me so bloody long to make. Every time I think I'm done, my brain will be like, no wait, there's more. At this point, I've finished all of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but you know what? I'll make a video about that at the end of the year. I'm set to finish Initial D soon, and I'll keep on watching and I will make it to the finish. Get it? Anyway, so I'll get there, but I'll probably put that in the anime I watched in 2026. The only reason I watched Fragrant Flower and My Dress Up Darling is because of this little picture I found. So whoever did this is an absolute legend because I watched 2 of the best shows I've ever watched thanks to this. So I'll probably watch the other 2 on this list as well. The goal is to have a bigger list, which realistically isn't going to be that hard because I just love anime. But thank you for watching this video all the way up until this point. It was a pleasure having you here, and I've really enjoyed making these types of videos, so I'll be making more videos like this soon. Not only anime, but all other general media as well. Jesus Christ, I'm glad I finished making this video because I've almost exploded my laptop trying to make this video. Despite however long it takes, I'm glad I could finish it and bring it out to all of you. I want to leave off by saying, be kind to one another, tell someone you love them, and spread some kindness even to someone that you don't know. Look after yourself and go on a walk, be happy and be healthy. Let me know in the comments what topic you want me to talk about next. I have some ideas, but I'm also open to some new ones. And this is Mr. Absolutely Cinema. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.